part of the grade 10 measurement unit is metric conversions. We will learn to use the metric system in order to measure various objects. When determining a measurement in the metric system, you must first recognize the type of measurement and the base unit associated with it. Base units could be used for measuring length, area, volume, capacity, mass, etc. Here are some examples. For length, our base unit is 1 meter, and the symbol for that is 1m. For mass, our base unit is 1 gram, and the symbol for that is 1g. To measure capacity, our base unit is 1 liter, and the symbol for that is 1L. Be sure to note that the L is uppercase. Mass. Mass is a measurement of how much matter is in an object. Weight is different from mass. Weight is the measure of the force of gravity on an object. The mass of an object will never change, but the weight of an item can change based on its location. For example, you may weigh 100 pounds on Earth, but in outer space, you would be weightless. However, you will always have the same mass on Earth as you have in outer space. Capacity. This is how much a container can hold. Sometimes the word capacity and volume are interchanged. Usually volume refers to the amount of space an object occupies and is measured in cubic units. Capacity is measured in liters. So if we look at this box here, this box would be like our container, and it can be measured in cubic units. So you would measure the length of the box, the height of the box, and also the width of the box, in order to determine the amount of space that the object can hold or occupies. And cubic units, if we think of what a cube means, it means 3. And there is 1, 2, 3 measurements there. Some common metric measurements. So for length, we have kilometers, which can be written as km, meters, which can be written as m, centimeters, which can be written as cm, and millimeters, which can be written as mm. For mass, we have kilograms, which can be written as kg. We have grams, which can be written as g. We have milligrams, which can be written as mg. For capacity, we have kiloliters, which can be written as KL. We have liters, which can be written as L. We have milliliters, which can be written as ml. The metric system units are related to each other in a base 10 manner. You can convert between metric units by moving the decimal point an appropriate number of places. The ladder in the diagram below is useful for conversions within the metric system. So as you go down the ladder, the prefix represents a smaller amount. And as you go up the ladder, the prefix will be a larger amount. Okay? So to convert to a larger amount, you can move the decimal point to the left, or you can divide. So because we are working with base 10, you would divide each time by 10. So divide by 10, divide by 10 again, and divide by 10 again. To convert to a small unit, you can move the decimal place to the right, like so, or you can multiply. So we can go times 10, times 10 again, times 10 again. And it's important to know the base units over here in this table. So for length, the base unit is always 1 meter. For mass, the base unit is always 1 gram. And for capacity, the base unit is always 1 liter. Let's do an example. So convert 3,500 millimeters to meters. So the first thing we can do is look at our ladder. And we will find where millimeters is. So millimeters is right here. And next, we'll find out what it wants us to convert to. And it says to convert to meters. Now we know that meters is a base unit. So we're looking to go over to this end. So we started at millimeters, and we're making our way to the base unit, meters. So what we can do is we can take our decimal point, we start it at millimeters, and we can move it to the left until we get to the base unit, our meters. So we can move it 1, 2, 3 times. Okay? So whenever we convert to a larger unit, we move the decimal point to the left, or we can divide. So here, we can also divide by 10, divide by 10, and divide by 10. So let's write this out. 3,500 meters. And we're going to put a decimal here and a 0 after. So we're going to move our decimal place over 1, 2, 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So now our answer will look like 3.5 meters. Our next example. Convert 6.4 kgs to grams. So our first step is to look at where kilograms is on our ladder. So we can see the word kilo here. So we're starting at kilo. And we are making our way to grams. We know that grams is our base unit. So we're moving over to here. So now we're going to take the decimal, starting at kilograms, and we're going to move it down to the base unit. So 1, 2, 3. We can also multiply that many times. So we can go times 10, times 10, and times 10. Now let's write this out. So 6.4. Now let's move the decimal point over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. We can fill in these bubbles with zeros. So now we are at 6,400 grams. here's some more to work through. We start with 9.5 meters, and they want us to convert it to centimeters. So if we look at our ladder, meters is a base unit. So here, we're starting there, and we're moving to centimeters, which is right here. We can take our decimal, and we can move it over 1, 2 times. We can also multiply by 10 times 10 times 10. So if we have 9.5 meters, we can move the decimal place over 1, 2. We can fill in the bubble with the 0, and this will equal 950 centimeters. You can write that on the line here, 950 centimeters. Okay. Now we have 975 mLs and converting it to liters. So milliliters, we're going to start at the bottom of our ladder, and we're going to move up to our base unit because liters is a base unit. So if our decimal is at milliliters, we're going to move the decimal over 1, 2, 3 times in order to get our answer. Okay, so we have 975. Okay, so we're going to take this decimal and we're going to move it over 1, 2, 3 times. So this will equal 0.975 liters. Our next one, 85 milligrams. Converting it to grams. So milligrams, that is again at the bottom of our ladder. And we are moving to grams. Grams is a base unit, so we're moving this way. If we take our decimal here, we can move it 1, 2, 3 times. So we have 85. We move the decimal to the left 3 times, so 1, 2, 3. Fill in the zeros, and this will equal 0.085 grams. Okay, I'm going to do this next example over here. So 3.5 liters. 2 milliliters. So if we have liters, liters is a base unit. So we're starting at our base unit and we're moving to milliliters, and milliliters is at the bottom. So we're going to be moving our decimal point to the right 1, 2, 3 times. So we take 3.5, move our decimal over 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Fill in the zeros, and that gives us 3,500 mLs. .48 centimeters to meters. we're starting at centimeters, and we're making our way to meters, which is our base unit. So we take the decimal, we move it over 1, 2 times. So 48. Decimal is here. We move it over 1, 2 times, which then gives us 0.48 meters. 56 kilometers to millimeters. Okay, so kilometers is at the top of our ladder, and we're moving all the way down the ladder to millimeters. So with this one, we take our decimal and we can move it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Okay, so we can go 56. Our decimal is here. And we are moving it to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. We can fill in the zeros. So 56 kilometers is 56 million millimeters. Okay, now we have 9 kilograms, 2 milligrams. So we start with kilograms, and we're moving all the way down to milligrams. We take our decimal, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to move the decimal place over 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fill in those zeros. And it gives us 9 million milligrams. The last one I will do up here. So we have 3.88 kiloliters to liters. Okay, so we're starting at kiloliters right here, and we're moving to liters, and liters is our base unit, so this is where we're going. So we're going to move our decimal place 1, 2, 3 times over. So 3.88. We're going to take our decimal and move it 1, 2, 3 times. We fill in the bubble with the 0. So that will equal 3,880 liters. Okay. Now we're going to enter the most appropriate unit of measurement for each situation. So if we were to measure the distance from Vancouver to Hong Kong, I think we already know that that is a pretty long distance. So we're going to want to use the largest unit that we have. So the largest unit that we have in our ladder is kilo. And if we're measuring distance, we're going to want to measure length. So we will want to measure the distance from Vancouver to Hong Kong in kilometers, so in km. The next one, the amount of water in a swimming pool. So for this one, this type of measurement is capacity, because it is asking how much of something can be in the swimming pool. Now, again, a swimming pool can be a very large space. So our space, once again, I think we're going to use kiloliters. So it will be KL. Now this one, the amount of fluid in a medicine dropper. Once again, this is capacity because it is asking for the amount of a substance in an object, this medicine dropper. So a medicine dropper is something that is very small. So we're probably going to want to use the very end of our ladder, which would be in milliliters. Okay. And lastly, the thickness of pencil lead. Now, if we want to know the thickness, we probably want to measure length. That's our best bet. And if you look at your pencil, the thickness of your pencil of the pencil lead is very small. So once again, we're going to use the very last part of our ladder. So that would be in millimeters.